All right, what is going on, ladies and gentlemen? How is it going? I am Is There No One Else? In today's video, we're going to talk about my experience of healing in the Elder Scrolls Online, doing some PvP and PvE healing, some of my thoughts, working on the build as I got better. This is one of the later games I got to play, and yeah, I wanted to talk about some things and just thoughts, musings, and an interesting thought that occurred to me while I was doing this, and that I didn't really think about until I actually started doing more healing. So that's what this video is. Let's dive into it. So last week I posted a build. I'm running Trickery and Ethereal Ascension with Bloodspawn. No mythics, gold weapons, blue jewelry. I think it's purple gear. Nothing like super updated or crazy. Just an easy to craft build, easy to acquire, something to start with. There's obviously better healer setups out there. There's obviously better healers. Group comp really comes into play. Like the amount of damage you're going to take in a game also impacts the amount of healing. The more tight knit your group is, the more healing you're going to get done. There's a lot of stuff that comes into play for PvP healing in general, and so I got to experience it quite a bit. I was a little bit selfish by using the bubble, but I just feel like the bubble's so powerful. It allows me to stay alive to where I can keep heals going. And yeah, I got a lot better with the rotation as I slowly started playing more. Obviously, I can still be better, but some of my PvP experience, just, you could see incoming group burst. And so it allows you to predict what's happening. So if all of a sudden you see a group piling on, you're like, okay, well, here comes a barrier. I'm gonna keep my group topped off and all that, and get things rolling. And so there's stuff like that, and there's some very, very interesting aspects in general to healing and things that I noticed. And so you saw right there, and no disrespect, this is no disrespect to anybody else or anything like that, but you see two of my teammates die there when I'm really trying to focus on healing them. And it's been my belief for a long time, at least a year now, that PvP healers are the strongest thing in the game. They're the strongest spec. They impact a group the most, like in PvP. And if you think about it, like if you guys do any sort of group comp, like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6-man group, think about what you can do with a 3-man of damage dealers, and then take out a damage dealer and replace it with a good healer. And I can almost guarantee you're just going to have a much larger impact, because that support build just provides so much to a group. And so I've always had the belief that healers are very strong. And so even when I was making the build video, and when I was talking to Icy Fire about this, people were like, oh great, more cross heals. And yeah, I mean, this is what we have to do to talk about these things, guys. I don't talk about stuff that I don't test. I don't talk about stuff that I just kind of see it from the outside in. I want to experience these sorts of situations before I make a definitive opinion and come up with, my initial thoughts. And so I'm still of the belief that a good healer will amplify a group better than just about anything else in the game. It's just extremely powerful. The healer spec is very good. But I realized that the disparity, because I've been talking about cross heals, I've been talking about healers, I've been talking about how powerful they are and how big of an impact they have like I said, for over a year now. And there's been this disparity in thoughts, like, oh, healers aren't that good, and like just different lines of thoughts, and nothing's really happened in the adjustments to cross healing. And I started doing low MMR BGs. Like, this is a newer character on PC, my Templar is, and I didn't have everything morphed, and so some of me doing BGs was morphing skills. But the point is because I'm doing lower MMR, I encounter a lot of different types of players. Sometimes I encounter good, decent players, and sometimes I'm encountering the people that are like, they come in with 17k health, or they're coming in on their tanks and they're trying to get their random daily BG for experience. There's nothing wrong with that. I do that too. Like, I'll hop on a PvE character for my random daily, and because it's so much experience for just doing one BG, as long as you take place in the top 2. So not judging, not questioning or anything like that. It's just you get a different type of player in PvP when you're in medium to low MMR compared to high MMR. And what I found in low MMR, or lower MMR in general, is healers aren't nearly as impactful. They're not nearly as effective. Like if I'm telling you this right now, I don't know if you'll watch this video, but one of my healer buddies, a few patches ago when the damage is really high, he's like, hey man, we should go PvP. We should go PvP. And I'm like, dude, I need to figure out my build. I'd love to PvP with your healer. You should come on a damage dealer because I need to figure out my build. Like you're just going to carry me and I'm not going to know if my build's good or not. And that's how I approach it. Like you give somebody that knows how to kind of defend themselves. You give somebody that knows how to react, hit their own heals and everything. And on top of that, you stack 2, 3, 4 more hots. They're going to feel very, very tanky and you're going to do things that you weren't expecting. Now, the interesting thing is if you watch a couple of the earlier fights, I'm trying to keep one person alive and you just see that there's some things that they're, not as good at. They're not as good as blocking incoming damage or healing or whatever. Like there's a few times in other BGs where I'm trying to heal somebody that's on the ground, unable to CC break, and I'm topping them off to full, but they're taking so much damage they still can't recover. And so what I found in low armor BGs is there's a big difference. Like there is a difference in the amount of effectiveness a healer has because players just don't react as well as higher MMR players. Now, I think as you go up, and I think everybody that's in higher MMR would agree, the minute your team gets a healer and the other teams don't, you're like, okay, well, this is an easy dub. and so I thought that was super interesting, and I thought there's a strong dichotomy and a separation here within the player base, and I think the perceived strength on a class like a healer is a little bit split in that regard because you have people coming into lower MMRs with healers and they're like, they're not keeping me alive. What are you talking about? I'm dying all the time. And so I thought that was interesting. And then I'm going to provide a little clip here, but this isn't anything special, guys. This is just me doing my random normal dungeon. And it's not to show like how well I go through banished cells or anything like that. It's to show the healing numbers in normal and vet content, because the healing numbers will be the same. The difficulty will be different. But if we go through this entire recording of this clip, I never hit Honor the Dead or my burst heal once because I don't need to. And obviously it's normal content and whatever, but healing, in my opinion, is so ridiculously high right now. And I think part of that is because, keep in mind, guys, I'm on a PvP healer. Like I'm not running 2 amplifying sets like you would in a dungeon or a trial. And I'm hitting 6k crits on my radiating regeneration when I'm casting it on my players. So every 2 seconds, they're getting 3 to 6k heals. And so that is an extremely high amount of healing with just one thing. And all of a sudden you stack extended ritual, all of a sudden you stack illustrious healing, and then you stack the bubble, and you just don't see health bars going down. And so obviously there's harder content. There's harder vet dungeon content and all of that. And yeah, but I part of me just, they've talked about this before, where they have analytics that shows how many people, what percentage of the population completes content. And I think they balance some of their healing and support stuff based off of the completion percentage. And I think, and so this is my theory, my working theory after having healed for this last week, is that they need these numbers to be high in PvE. They need these numbers to be high because, yes, I've been playing this game for 5-6 years now. I am an endgame player. This isn't an endgame account. I only have like 1,000 CP on here, and it's not a PvE healer spec or anything like that. But still, it shows the strength of what a healer does. And sometimes you encounter those groups that you play with that don't know how to defend themselves very well, or they don't know how to heal very well, and they need the fully spec'd healer to complete this sort of content. And so I think that's where the disparity is like you just have the population that's looking at stuff like this, and they're like, you see the normal, and you want to be able to complete content, right? You want to be able to complete your vet dungeons. And so if a healer isn't as strong as they currently are and they lose power, you might not be able to complete stuff that you completed the previous patch, and you're going to have an issue with that, right? I totally get that. I totally get that point of view. And this is why when I talk about stuff like this, I always try to talk about separating it through battle spirit. separating the amount of cross healing or the amount of healing power you have in Battle Spirit, because some of these skills are extremely powerful, and it's fine for them to be extremely powerful in PvE, because like that's the point of PvE, is to just like feel big, like your character is supposed to feel like a badass. I totally get that, but in PvP, if a specific skill is just ridiculously overtuned, it makes fights, you know, if it's a defensive skill like radiating regen, it makes fights go on longer than they should. You know, it covers up poor defensive mechanics. And so these sorts of things I think need to be adjusted a little bit more. And I think more of an education on how to defend incoming attacks and protect yourself a little bit more would open the eyes for people to see exactly how powerful some of these specs actually are. And so yeah, I thought that was interesting. I don't know if you guys are going to agree with me on that or not, but I do think that the overall disparity in skill level in ESO is a big part of the reason why the thoughts on some of these healing abilities and why we haven't been able to get to a consensus on some of these exists. And so I thought that was interesting. I thought it was really interesting, and I wouldn't have gotten to that point of view probably without actually doing healer content, without actually healing and running with good groups and literally keeping people alive in like 2v8s or 3v8s, or you know, trying to keep one person alive and I'm literally solo dedicated to healing them and providing hots and jumping in front of them, and they still can't stay alive because they're a 17k health PvE build without any real sorts of mitigation, and they're just getting two-tapped all the time. So yeah, so these are my thoughts overall on the healer spec in general. I've been having a lot of fun doing it. I've been having a lot of fun just going through and trying to keep people alive and providing support and stuff. I've learned a lot. Hopefully opening the avenues to more discussions on heals. We'll be doing some more discussions on cross heals here in the future. I don't want to touch on it too much, but yeah, some of the strength that's needed for PvE, I'll just say this, some of the strength that's needed for PvE and whatnot carries over, and it becomes overtuned in PvP. And we'll be doing a whole video discussing those issues and all that sort of things. But yeah, I'm not gonna do that video today when we're talking about PvP healers. So Icy, I really like the build. It's been a lot of fun. Super tanky. I don't take much damage. I heal. I provide support. It's been an eye-opening experience, and yeah, I think I'm getting to the point where I can take the training wheels off. But yeah, the other thing I wanted to say too is I wish I could have streamed this, guys. I really do. I posted on a community post and I was talking about how I was going to stream this. I said that in the video and I was looking forward to it. When I did try to stream a couple days ago, I think I crashed a total of 6 times in about an hour. And so I'm updating my PC. It's going to take time. And so I can't currently do the content on PC, but I'll make the build on Xbox and we can get some streams later this week, and I will make sure to fulfill. I said I was going to do it, so I'm going to do it. And so if you're interested in watching some healer BGs, I'll do that on Xbox, and we can enjoy it, and you guys can come laugh at my ability or inability to keep people alive or whatever. So yeah, that's gonna be the end of this video. If you guys have any questions or comments or musings yourself, I know I kind of went off here for a little bit, but I thought it was an enlightening experience. I thought it was refreshing. I feel like my soul was purified. Sorry, I had to make some Templar jokes there. So yeah, I'm going to leave this sacred discussion alone. If you guys have any questions or comments, please provide them in the section below, and I'll do my best to honor them. And yeah, hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching, guys. Have a nice day.